Okay, and welcome to another how-to video. My name is Ditech, CTO DVS, and thank you for everybody that has liked and subscribed to our YouTube channel. Before you go any further, please do hit the subscribe button. We're trying to get to 100k followers, and please do hit that like button if you enjoy the content of this video. We are trying to get back to doing one a week like we did before. So, some brand new technology. You may have seen a sneak peek of this last week posted on our socials. We're very, very excited about this one. It is, drum roll please, you can add that in the background guys, the new Hikvision PTRZ 27 series ColorVu hybrid active deterrent camera. That's a mouthful. So the full part code is quite long. It is, I'll sort of put it by there. You can pause it if you want to see it. There's two versions available. This is the 4 megapixel version. It's the only one we currently have in stock, which we're making this video on. We are going to fit this in here to show you how good this technology is. It is the hybrid technology on the ColorVu brand new platform, which means it has both IR and white light to give both best of both worlds. That's also a great album if you want to Google it. So we're really excited to see this. It also has the PTRZ function, so the pan, tilt, rotate, and zoom function, all from the comfort of the web browser or the app. So it becomes almost like a fit and forget scenario. So if you're in a setting like retail especially, or you're in a perimeter protection, or you're in a warehouse and the object that you're trying to protect moves around quite regularly, through the power of the IVMS, Hike Central, the web browser, the NVR, the app, you can move the camera to cover the area of interest. Now, whilst it does have the PTRZ function, that doesn't mean it's a continuously rated PTZ like a standard PTZ. It is a sort of a fit and forget, ease of installation, and always cover the area and objects that you need to cover. But again, it's not for continuous use. So please don't log on to the app and use it like a standard PTZ, because one, it's not as quick, and two, you will wear that camera out quite quickly in comparison to a standard PTZ function. So it does explain on the box. So it is this new eco packaging. So the good thing with this new camera range is they're all cardboard, so they're very easy to dispose of. So when you open the box, I have taken it out, you can see it is all cardboard package, which means it's easy to recycle, it's good for the planet, and it's good for us and you guys to be able to not have to separate it and try and dispose of that horrible polystyrene type foam, which is still in some of the models, because especially the really expensive or fragile units where that extra protection is needed, then we still need it, of course. But where possible, they are moving to this eco-friendly packaging. You will see there's a sticker, there's in brackets EF, which means eco-friendly. It is a 2.8 to 12 mil varifocal lens, so it's like the standard 2.7 series. So you do get a box of things. So obviously you get your glands, your connectors, your book, your drill template, all of that comes within the box as standard with all the Hikvision product. It does come like with this fantastic cardboard packaging, which we are just about to remove. And what we'll do is we'll fit the camera, I drop it on the floor, don't worry. We'll fit the camera in the demo room so I can demonstrate the switch between IR and white light, because I think it's probably the best place to currently show you that. And then once we've done that, we are going to relocate it outside, because I do think it's extremely handy to do. I'm going to try and fit this one in the middle pod somewhere so we can show you the technology with the PTRZ. It doesn't really matter, I suppose, where I fit it, but we'll figure that out in a minute. Back to the camera itself. Oh, that's so satisfying. So it is that 2.7 series. So there is a couple of design changes in this. It is the Active Guard or Live Guard technology, Active Deterrence. So it does have the speaker in there. So you can see you can do two-way audio or the pre-announced recorded audio. So it becomes that deterrent function. It does have two microphones. You can see there two little pinholes there. Now they're the two microphones that are built into the casing, so you almost get like a bi-directional microphone setup. You also have the SD card function if you need to use an SD card, and the reset button under there. And on the back, it does tell you how to fit this. The back plate is glanded, so it does fit the standard 2.7 series brackets. This is suggested to use a wall bracket. You want to fit it this way, because obviously the pan tilt function, you want to be able to move it around, up, down, and rotate it. You can wall mount it. it's not going to be as effective wall mounted, in my opinion, covering the mic there, but you can wall mount it. My suggested fitment for this model is using the wall mount bracket. And then make sure the speaker is pointing outwards, and then the microphones are underneath as well. So you want these pointing outwards for maximum benefit. It has got this new backplate, so there's a secure screw which locks it in, but basically you push these two, there's two little buttons, one there, one there. You push them in, which releases this backplate. He says. There we are. So you can see that's the back plate, and you can put the cables through those glands there. So it's a lot more environmentally sealed than the previous versions. And you can see this new cable layout. So there is enough depth in here, depending on what you're trying to connect and how much cable you want as a service loop effectively. There is enough here to connect the cable straight in. So you've got your RJ45 there for your network and PoE, your DC 12 volts, alarms, audio if you need it, and the security loop there should you want to connect that to this back plate once it's fitted. So it makes the connection, it'll hang like that, and it makes connecting testing so much easier. Now, you don't need to specifically to take this cover off. Because it's a PTRZ, you don't need to take this top mount cover off. You fit the camera, fit in there, lock it into the base there. PTRZ, so you've got the pan, tilt, rotate, etc. So this will rotate around, so you get the nice level image. PTZ and tilt up and down. 2.8 to 12 mm varifocal, 4 megapixel and 8 megapixel, as we've already discussed. And you can see the LED and infrared layout here. So very difficult to see without turning it on and seeing the effect in the image. We are going to fit this and show you the benefit of the dual light setup. So infrared by default. You can set it for permanently white light or permanently IR, but the default or the suggested method, in which I, in my personal opinion, think is the best, is the dual smart light setting, where it's infrared until a person or a vehicle is detected. Then the white light will come on, which one illuminates the scene and gives you that fantastic 24/7 color image, but also acts as a huge deterrent, especially with the two-way audio and microphones that you've got in there. So you obviously got full observational of that scene. There isn't much more to do other than fit this camera now, so we are super excited. We do have these on order, both the 4 meg and the 8 meg version already on order, so we are very, very excited to see how this progresses through your different applications and installs. But first, let's go fit this one and show you what it really performs like in our demo room before we move it outside, and then we can see what it looks like at night. So first, fit in the demo room. Stay tuned. All right. So we fitted the camera. You can see it. It's there where my finger is. Again, we are going to move this outside, but for demonstrate, it is summer in the UK. Weirdly, we do have sun now and again. I'd have to wait a long time for it to get dark to show the white light hybrid IR switch over. So we're going to do it in the demo room. I can make it black in here, black it out, and obviously then we'll move it outside. It'll be much better when it is outside, and much more realistic. But for purposes of demonstration, we can use this blackout room. Now, all I've done is fitted the camera. It's on our network, and I've used the SADP tool to activate and give it an IP address that I wanted. Two things. If you go to the Hikvision official webpage for this camera, you can see all of the information, and you can download the spec sheet, installation guide, but also the latest firmware. Now, this camera is on the latest firmware. I have already checked, but if it isn't, please do go to the official Hikvision website, download the firmware and upgrade it. And that goes across all our camera range. So we're going to log in firstly. It is the new style webpage. I know a lot of people prefer the older style, but actually once you get used to it, it's really good. So you can see it is a different layout. The functionality is exactly the same. It just takes a little bit of getting used to, but don't worry, it's very simple. If it doesn't ask you to download the web-in, we're using Edge. You can download the web-in here, so download the plugin from there, or you can use the wizard as well to do the basic functionality and setup to get the camera configured. We're just going to go through it step by step. So you have the live view. Before we do any of the alterations of the video settings, firstly we're going to go to the configuration. So it is a little bit different, this setup, but we're just going to go through it anyway. So you have your mainstream and your substream settings. So it's a 4 megapixel camera. We are going to leave it set as 4 megapixel, variable bitrate, video frame 25, and we're going to change it to H.265. I don't particularly like H.265 Plus. I think it causes more problems than it fixes. My personal opinion, if you're having good results with it, please do use it. It does reduce recording and network bandwidth. But there is some exceptions to that in some of the functionality it disables, and I do believe in a busy scene it causes more problems than it fixes. That little gripe aside, it is still a good functionality. So we're going to save that. You can adjust the substream as well, depending on your network and what you're actually trying to achieve from it. But again, it's now adjusted down the bitrate after I saved it and gone back. Image. So again, you've got your image parameter switch settings. So not switch by default or schedule switch. So you can change the different parameters for the switch depending on January, February, and then obviously the 24-hour functionality within those months. So you can follow the daylight hours effectively. Not many people use it. It is good if you do have, especially externally, and you've got different light levels and changes, etc. Sun in the rear, you know, or the forefront or the background, depending on where you are regionally, then it can improve the image. The basic mode is scene, but you can have low illumination, custom, etc. Image adjustment, exposure settings. You can adjust all of these depending on the application you're fitting in. The default generally works for most people, excuse me, but you can change these settings should you want. So you've got focus mode, semi-auto, manual. The default is semi-auto. I would highly suggest you leave it semi-auto. When you PTZ the camera, the focus will adjust itself. If you change it to auto, which a lot of people do, the camera will start to focus hunt. So when an object moves closer away, it starts to try and focus on that object near and far, which can cause image distortion, and it can actually lose focus on other objects in the scene. I couldn't think of the word I was trying to say there. I would highly suggest you leave it on semi-auto, but you can change it if needed. Day-night switch, again, filtering time I leave it 5 seconds. Sensitivity, I change it to the highest. Supplement light, smart supplement light, I leave it off, but you can change it to turn it to on. It changes the intensity of the white light. And you've got the supplement light is smart, IR, or off. So I'm going to change it to smart, because the default is white light, like a standard ColorVu. Smart is IR and white light. And then the light brightness control is auto or manual. For purposes of this video, I'm going to change it to manual, and you can adjust both of these to its full intensity. It makes a big, big difference, and that's how you do it. You can leave it as auto, or you can change it to manual, depending on the application and your scene. And again, you can change the low beam and high beam independently. I'm just going to leave it as maximum intensity for this video. You can leave it as auto, or you can adjust it as needed. You've got backlight, on, off, WDR, white light balance, image enhancement, and then video adjustment. And you can change the hertz there depending on the region and mirror the image. You don't need to mirror it. We're going to adjust the PTZ function shortly. OSD configuration, and again, you can put whatever you want in there. So what I generally tend to do is take the name of the camera. So nice easy way of doing it. My bad. Just do that. 24 tone, and then day month year. Again, up to you how you do it. You can change all of these settings. You can even add your own text if you want to do that. Drag them around. I always like them in the bottom and top left. Personal preference, I know. And then just update it. And then time settings, you can see by default we're still on the factory time, 1970. We're going to change it to UK time, which is up here somewhere. We're currently on that one there. Manual time sync. Wait for it to adjust. There you go. Now we're updated. So it now follows the time my PC is correct. It's very, very simple. So a couple of other things. You've got local, the different, you can do the pause, the rules. You know, if you're doing VCA, it shows on the image on the web browser. system settings, so you can change these. Firmware is there, but we've upgraded it. Like I already said, we didn't upgrade it, it was already on the latest firmware, but please do check. Time settings, done. RS232, we're not using that. And then system service, we're also not using that. User management, you can add users and show the online users. You don't really need this functionality. Generally, it'd be added to an NVR, and it's managed through the NVR connection. Network, so DHCP, that's how I wanted it. I can turn that off and fix the IP address. In fact, I am going to do that. And then preferred DNS server, the name, etc. And I can click save on that. No, I don't want to restart the device. TDNS, if I want to enable it, I can. I'm not going to enable it. PPPoE, no one uses it. SNMP, 8221 and QS, quality of service. Network service. Now, HTTP and HTTPS can be turned on and off with your certificates and your authentication types. Multicast, RTSP, SRTP, bonjour, nice. WebSockets, NAT, and RTCP. They can all be turned on depending on what you're doing with this camera. I'm not going to go for each one of these independently because most people don't use these. And then platform access, you've got ISUP, so that's our way we connect our camera to our Hike Central server. If you want to connect it directly and you don't have a fixed IP address on site, you need a fixed IP address at the server end. You point it to the server and it will come online. Hike Connect, which is the one everybody uses, we enable it. We're going to add a password. We click save. And it's now online. I can add it to Hike Connect app, which I will do. And if you're external linkage via ProConnect, you can do this as well. So if you're using the actions between camera and other devices, you need to enable it, which means using Hike ProConnect or Hike Partner Pro, as we can now call it in the UK, you can have cross-device linkages. So an action on one camera can trigger another action on another camera. That option needs to be on, and they need to be added to the same system in the Partner Pro. But it does allow you to do like cause and effect across devices, so that is quite handy. On VIF, you can turn it on and off as needed. An SDK service, enable, disable, etc. Video and audio, we've already done. So you've got or video, we've already done. Audio, so mic in or line in. So you can connect external microphone if the bidirectional microphone is fitted to the camera that's outward facing. If that's not your preference, by all means, connect an external microphone in, fit it where you need it, and choose the line in option. Input volume, we're going to turn it right up, and output volume for the speaker, we're going to turn that right up. And environmental noise filtering, we leave it on because it tries to cut down the background noise and filter on the sort of speech element as people are talking. Region of interest and display info on stream, we're going to turn that on. Image, we've been through most of these settings. OSD, which we've already done, and then privacy mask. If you want privacy mask, you can enable it and add your privacy mask, especially if it's looking at an area that you need to protect. The PTZ function, so you can enable self-check, so I can do a self-check. It does that once I've powered the camera up. It does a self-check anyway. I will do it off camera because it'll take 30 to 60 seconds. I don't want you just sat there doing it, but you can do a self-test functionality there, and it will tell you initialized or uninitialized. Storage, again, SD card or no SD card, and then the schedules for recording and etc. and the parameters. I don't have an SD card fitted. What I would recommend, and I highly recommend this on a lot of my video content, if you are using this camera externally and it is in a critical area like covering your front door area, sensitive areas, high value coverage, etc., use an SD card as well as the NVR. If the network connection is lost to the NVR, i.e. it's damaged, broken, goes offline, the video footage will still record to the local SD card and then be backed up on restoral of the NVR, especially if there's a theft of the NVR or somebody maliciously destroys it or tries to wipe the hard drives on the NVR. You've got that footage safe on the camera on the edge. So it's like a really safe way of capturing critical area footage. So I highly recommend it. SD cards are really not expensive. It's definitely something you should invest in with your customer. And then you've got event and detection. So you've got motion detection. If you want, it's motion detection 2.0, video tampering, alarm input. So you've got one alarm input, exception, and then scene change detection. So you've got linkage methods, etc. for all of these. And motion detection is quite basic. It is motion 2.0, but again, most people will use the VCA, not the motion detection. and then you've got your alarm set in there. So you've got email, if you want to use that, alarm output, flashing light alarm, so the flashing duration, we're just going to put as 5 seconds, high frequency, and save that. So that's the light that's on the camera, so it'll flash upon detection of a vehicle or a person when the VCA is set up. Audible alarm output, so you can have prompt audio, custom audio, or warning sound, and then the different areas. So if I put down, like this one.
Attention please, the area is under surveillance.
Yeah, so it's quite loud, it's very impactful, especially if somebody walks into this area, the camera flashes and does that audio announcement. It does actually make a very good deterrent, but you can change them, custom audio if you want. I could upload my voice, or I can just do a siren, for instance. So I could just select siren and click test. I'm recording. Or you could do the siren.
Warning, this is restricted area.
Again, it's up to you how. I'm going to just put it as once, because when we make the video in a minute, I don't want to go off all that many times. But it is up to you. It's very customizable. The live guard functionality has been around for a long time now, so you tailor it to what you need. A lot of people love the custom audio upload, but again, it is entirely up to you. Under the maintenance and security tab, we haven't got long left, so you've got your restart, scheduled restart if you want it, upgrade, which we've already done, backup and restore, log, security log, and device debugging. Security, obviously you can change all of this, login management, TLS, certificate management, MAC address filter. Depending on your application, you can adjust these as required. Okay, so there's a very simple overview. So we're going to go into the VCA settings in a minute, because we're going to use that to change between the IR and the white light functionality. What we are going to do is quickly add this to our Hikconnect app. So we're going to go to configuration, firstly system. I'm going to add, so using my Hikconnect, so simply add it. Where is it? Hikconnect. So add a device. I can scan the QR code. In fact, the QR code is, let's just do that, it's much easier. The camera's only by there. So scan QR code. So I'm just going to quickly scan the QR code on the camera. It's just adding now, guys. Yep. Hikconnect is so easy. Once the camera's got a network connection, just finishing adding it to Hikconnect. I have got Hike Partner Pro, so it's going to authorize it automatically because that's how I set it. And we're going to finish the camera there. So under device, you can see the camera there. And you can see it there. It's added directly to the app there. I know the brightness is a bit of a nightmare, but you can see it there, added to Hikconnect. It's very, very simple, and we'll show you that functionality in a minute through, I'll just do a screen recording on there. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go to, clear that down, we don't actually need that anymore. We're going to go to the live view, and the bit you've all been waiting for is the PTRZ functionality. You can see me, I'm upside down. When I fitted the camera, I need to rotate the lens. You have the PTZ functions here, and you have the rotate function. So what I can do is rotate the camera. Oh, I need to go the other way. What we will do, actually, let me just stop this and get the web browser. Okay, so I have a bit of a confession to make. The more astute amongst you may notice the time and date on the camera is slightly different to the first segment of the recording. There is a reason why. I thought I'd broken the camera because the rotate function, so the PTZ function worked, the rotate function did not work, which is a core functionality of this new model. What actually happened, and after some investigative work, this is actually an 8 megapixel camera now. We actually changed it from a 4 to an 8 to see if the problem was rectified or carried through. It did. What actually happened is the firmware that was linked to the original product page, so where I said go to the Hikvision page, check your firmware version, and always update it from the Hikvision page. Admittedly, the firmware was incorrect. That firmware, which did work on the camera, it did give the functionality, or it did take the upgrade, should we say. The one functionality it did remove was the rotate mode. That has now been rectified by Hikvision, so I'm glad that we did this to find there was an issue, because that would have been quite frustrating. But we have now rectified the issue. That firmware has been removed and replaced by one that will continuously keep that functionality. So we are back on track. We do now, however, have an 8 megapixel version, so I do apologise. It is a couple of days later, it's actually a full week later than we wanted to plan, or we originally planned to do this video content, but the video will still continue from where we left off. So the camera is sort of back in the same position, the default position. It is an 8 megapixel, so the image is a lot clearer than the original 4, but in all intents and purposes, the functionality is exactly the same as we've already described. And we're going to go straight back into the PTRZ functionality. So it is added back to the HiConnect app, and we will show you briefly what that does and what that looks like. The functionality is also available on the app for the rotate mode. So I always put the PTZ function to the fastest speed because we're making a video, time is precious. You have your standard left and right functionality. So the camera will pan around until it hits its limits, like it's hit this limit here. So then for this purposes, I'd have to go all the way back round like this, and then it'll hit the other, we could have done a bit of cleaning there, and go back. So there is, you know, physical limits that the camera will hit. Okay, you have your up and down. And you have your zoom in and zoom out. And it's set to semi-focus. As you can see, it focuses itself. If I want to rotate it, there's two icons to the left and the right of the PTZ control. And I can simply rotate the camera remotely. Oop, too far. And there we go. And I can tilt it right the way up to its final position that we want for the video content. Now I can either move it here to cover that area. And this is the beauty of this. As the area changes, so especially in retail, in event spaces, like pop-ups, festivals, anything like colleges, schools, universities, office space even, you can place the camera in quite a centralized location, move it around as required using the remote app, zoom it in and fix it on a position that you want for that setting. Like I said, it's not a continuous use PTZ, so do be a little bit careful, because obviously you can't just use it continuously like a normal PTZ. It will wear out, it will damage the product, but it is perfect for this occasional use, I would say, would probably be the best word for it. But like I said there, you can see the full functionality, and this is also available via the app or Hike Central, IVMS 4200, whichever is your preference. It is available via those methods. Just have a lovely drink of or slip of coffee. Now, the purpose of this video is for us to be able to demonstrate the switch between the IR and the white light on an object moving. So I'm going to put it down to this end. There's less light this end. I'm going to turn all the lights off shortly. We are going to set up a tripwire for this to be apparent. It's much easier for me to make this video at DVR in the demo room, like I said before, because I can make it as blacked out as possible. We will then fit it outside. It's long summer nights. It'll be 11, 12 o'clock before I can realistically make a video in the DVS car park. So I will follow it up with a "this is now outside" video, for those of you that may be wondering. So what we're going to do now is set the VCA up. So if we go into the VCA section on the left hand side, you've got smart event, face capture, or monitoring. Monitoring, if I enable monitoring, it just becomes a dumb camera effectively. So you could be using that with a third-party system. It removes face capture and smart event and just makes it a very simple camera. Face capture, now I can enable face capture. That can capture faces and then output to a IDS or deep in mind recorder to do the face recognition application. But we're going to do smart event. So we're going to leave it on smart event and click next. So we've got general settings. Where my mouse works. Come on. There we go. So, standard functionalities, FTP, email, alarm output, audible alarm output, and this is linked to the smart event. So warning sound, prompt audio, so danger, please keep away.
Danger, please keep away.
We're going to turn that right up.
Danger, please keep away. Danger, please keep away.
Warning, this is a restricted area.
Warning, this is restricted area.
Okay, alarm server. So you set the output that required, the custom audio list and the schedule there. So this is 24/7. If you only want it in outside of hours, set that schedule appropriately to the event schedule that you require. Alarm server, metadata settings. So smart event, yes, yes, yes. Flashing a light, we're going to do it 5 seconds, high frequency. Yeah. And AccuSearch. So enabling that. After the function is enabled, the ongoing smart application will be disabled while smart event or multi-target type detection will be enabled. That's fine. So yeah, we're going to leave this functionality on. Go back to general settings and then smart event itself. We have the option for intrusion detection, line crossing, region entrance, or region exit. We're just going to do a very simple line crossing for the purposes of this video. Some people prefer the intrusion, some people prefer line crossing. So we're going to enable that. We're going to add, we got to draw the line first. I'm going to put it sort of by here, just so when I cross it, when we make the video, if you double click, it goes full screen, so it might be easier for you to see. We are going to do humans. You can do vehicles if you choose. You can choose the direction. So we can only do it one way or the other way or both ways. We're going to leave it as both ways. Sensitivity and then target validity, basic, high, higher or highest. I'm going to leave it on basic. That's where you should start. If you are getting false alarms, then obviously try to raise the target validity and then go up in stages until you find that sweet spot. So it allows you to sort of, overcome any false alarms. You don't get a lot of false alarms with the AccuSense technology now. It's developed quite well. But again, if you do, you will always get some false alarms. Then you're going to try adjusting sensitivity and target validity. So you can add up to 4 rules, but we're only going to add 1 rule for this. We're going to save. Arming schedule is 24/7, but I can adjust the arming schedule to be appropriate to our needs. So we are going to have audio linkage, yes. Send email if I wanted to send an email. Notify surveillance center, that's app notifications and to our software. So if you need that, please make sure it's enabled. And then we're going to do the flashing light as well. We could do an output and we could do the record linkage to the SD card that's fitted within the camera. And we're going to click save. So that is basically our rule set, very basic. You can choose any of these rules, very simple process. And again, draw the line. You can draw maximum and minimum sizes. So again, this helps filter out false alarm potential. So minimum size would be sort of that size, and then you can just put it in an area for reference. And then maximum size could be that. Yeah, that'll do. Save that. So the object has to be bigger than that, but smaller than that for it to make an effect across this line crossing. So again, it's another way to enhance the reliability and filter out some potentially unwanted false alarms. It does work. I've used it a lot for customers during or helping with their setup and commissioning. It's a very, very useful tool. Okay, and then if you click on View Drawing Example, it actually tells you some examples of the line if you do it on intrusion. So you get the idea. So it's a bit of an aid, really. Okay, what we will do now is, let me just check in configuration. Ignore me for a minute. So that's done. Output volume was 100. Local, yes, that's all on. So basically, if I go to live view now, we can see the line there, right? That's cool. What I am going to do is, not only will this trigger, so this is the live guard camera, so this line activity, not only will it trigger the flashing light and the audible warning, but it will make the switch, because it's a hybrid camera, it'll make the switch between infrared to color. So you get the benefit of both flashing light and stable color, so that identification and great color image, but also the deterrent factor. So just quickly going to check image. It's on smart, manual, yeah, fine. We did all these adjustments before. I'm just making sure because I've changed the camera, it's the same. What I'm going to do is turn the lights off in the building or in the room. Go back to live view. I'm going to go and get the lights off, and I'll come back and do the record functionality, and you can see how the camera is impacted. Okay, as you can see, it is dark in here. It is in infrared mode now. The image is absolutely fantastic, to be fair. Very, very crystal. I have got a couple of cameras with infrared. I can't turn that off there because the router's behind there and I'll lose connection. But you get the idea. Very, very clear image at night with low disturbance. So at night you don't get that white light that a lot of people have not complained about, but they choose that they don't want that to be part of their everyday process, which is fair enough with the light pollution or highlighting areas they don't particularly want highlighted at that time. So what we are going to do is I'm going to put that over there. So that covers that up. I'm going to walk and show you. One, you'll hear the white light. So you'll see the white light change when I go over the line, and you'll hear that board just moved as well. I have to be really careful because I have to move that board out of the way there. You'll see the white light come on, and you'll also see the effect of the audio, etc. So let me just go and do that now. I'll put it into substream mode because the network's struggling a bit. Okay, cover that up. As you can see, it is very dark in here. And you can see.
This is restricted area.
Now the white light comes on, so you can see the effect of the white light on the image. That is very, very bright. Like, I'm looking at that. I put that to I put this to 100, as you can see. There is some white light haze bouncing off that object there, off that the wall it's mounted on, effectively. But you can see that it's very bright to look at. But you can see the effect. And then when I walk away, and again, if I walk on there, so infrared, and as it comes on, the white light, and again.
Warning, this is restricted area.
So again, I've wiped that camera now, so you can see, I put it into mainstream. You can see I wiped it because there was a bit of haze on it. You can see much clearer. You can clearly identify who I am. I'm about 4 meters away from the camera now. I could be a lot further away. So this is about 12 meters, around 12 meters distance from the camera now. So a very, very strong camera. I'm going to turn the lights back on now, guys. The camera with the bubble is, you do need to keep it clean. The white light has less of an effect, but again, the infrared can refract and reflect off it, which can cause issues. That's why traditionally, you know, cameras with domes outside, they do need cleaning, or put some, you know, sort of Rain-X, etc. on it to help prevent that build-up of water and scum, I guess, dried watermarks. As you know, guys, you're the professionals as much as me. You know the issues with dome cameras. But again, it's a very, very handy piece of technology, this, with the active deterrent in there. The white light is very strong, so I turned it up to 100%. Generally, you'd leave it as auto mode. So as the object gets closer or nearer, it does it automatically. The white light 100% is extremely distressing to your eyes, I'm going to be honest with you, but I can just see big white spots in there now. But for the purposes of the video, you get the idea, right? I am going to position the camera up next to the dome, because I want to show you the sort of mechanism of it moving around, because I think it's quite cool as a little end piece. You can on the app, so if I do open up the app, wait for it to open. So as you can see there, you know, you do have the functionality. So if I go to two-way audio, hello, 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 can you please leave? Please leave the area. And then you can listen to it as well. The PTZ function, you've got the rotate, I don't know if you can see it from there. You can see the rotate left and right icons there, and you can do it through there we are. So it's done through the app as well. So it's full control remotely, as well as the two-way audio. Let me go and position the camera up. There's the M piece. If you want to know any more questions, do get in contact with your DVS sales rep or me, and we'll help you as much as we can. It is a fantastic piece of kit. I'm really excited that this has come out, and we will fit it outside and show you the benefit of it outside as well. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned. There's a little bit to wrap it up, and then see you next week for another how-to video. Okay, so you can see the camera there. I'm going to just pan this round now. Apologies. You can see there you are. If I get it to the side again, if I go right in, I don't know if you're going to be able to see this. See the little right, if I do it there, you should see the little, you can see the lens cap comes back. That allows it to PTZ effectively. So yeah, I just wanted to show you that with a lovely reflection on there. Enjoy the video. See you next week for another how-to video.